applause. For first off, we'll have Tessa Pete Jones.
Hooray!
Yes, you're on now. Hello, Tessa, everybody. Also, Gwyneth Strong. Gwyneth Strong, Gwyneth Strong.
Hey!
Philip Pope, who is also working as an usher for us as well. Thank you, Philip. And Baz Blackwood. Baz Blackwood, just go in. That's not Baz Blackwood. That is not Baz Blackwood. There's a lot of people going, the black shadow has changed. Come on. Quickly. Big background applause for some other people who've come in late. You go in and sit down, come sit down. And Baz Blackwood, obviously, there he is. He's just hiding from you. There we go. So, thank you for joining us. Thank you very much. We'll go straight into this because I've been running late recently. But I'm sure you've all got questions and stuff like that. If you just want to put your hands up, and I will come to you, and I will try. Oh, lovely. Hello. She's put her hands up there. I will come to you in a bit. So if you want to put your hands up, and we will start asking questions and stuff like that, and I will join in, and we'll pass the microphones across. So who wants to break the ice and be the first question? There we go, Del Boy. Obviously, look at that. There's some confidence. What's your name, fella?
Callum.
It's Del, obviously, but yeah. Callum, there you go. Pass the mic to you.
What was your favourite episode that, like, out of every single one?
Good question.
Mine.
Is it for all of us?
Yeah, it's for all of yous. It doesn't.
I'm going to start now because I've taken over. My favourite ever episode was, I think, crying because Philip Pope's here, was with him.
Crying.
And it was mine too.
And mine was the holiday episode, which I keep calling it the holiday episode. People here will know what it was called better than me. Thank you. That's my favourite episode. Because I just thought it was a genius idea of this adult pretending. I thought it was hysterical, that episode. And I really struggled getting through it because I thought it was so funny myself, so I was always on the edge of losing it and laughing, which you're not supposed to do.
My friend Michael Fenton-Stevens as Alan Perkins.
Yes. Yeah.
He would have been here if he'd been asked.
Take note.
What was yours?
The chandeliers.
That's one of my favourites as well.
So just to warm us up as well, if you want to tell us how you all got in, how you got the roles as well, how you sort of came to get the parts. If you just want to tell all the audience as you pass it around.
Shall I start?
Yeah, we'll go from right to left. Test to Baz.
How did I get the part? I auditioned with, first I auditioned twice. I auditioned the first time and read on my own with the director, and then I had to cut Tony down, and then I had to come back on a recall, I'm not sure with how many others, 2 or 3 maybe, and I had to read with David, Jason and John Sullivan, our writer, and then I think I went away and they decided, and then, that was it, but yeah.
Was there anybody you were up against that you knew, or?
Well, you'll never. It's really interesting. I mean, you do get to know, because obviously some of us are friends, go up for the same thing. So then you do get to know, because a mate of yours might also be up for the same part. But in that, no, I didn't know who was up for it at all. So.
Well, we're glad that you got it though.
Thank you.
There you go, Gwyneth.
I didn't know that. So that's interesting. Mine was like a doddle, which is really weird considering it turned out to be one of the most important jobs of my career. But for some reason, it was after I'd had my little boy, and my agent said to me, when you're ready, when you feel ready, you just give me a call and maybe you might be ready to go up for something. So I gave her a call when my son was about 3 months old, thinking, there'll be nothing, I'll have months. And literally a week later, she said, there's a thing of fools and horses, go on. I was, wasn't really ready. And anyway, I went up and I met Tony, and it was really fast, and I was literally doing it within about a week. So there was no time to think about it, no time to, which is lovely now when I think of that. It's quite unusual, really. You didn't have to work that hard for it, which seems a bit bad.
So you didn't get a recall and have to go twice?
No, they must have been a bit behind schedule.
Yeah, I was originally up for Tessa's part. couldn't say my R's. So no, I don't know if there was anyone else up for it. At least I never was told. But I received a script through the post, and of course it said at the bottom, the sending of this script is no guarantee that you'll be offered the part. But luckily, my skill set seemed to match. In fact, my wife thought that this was a bit of a... Because we sat and read the thing, because by then the programme was very established. I was in the 7th series. And so we were quite excited by this arriving through the post. We sat on a Saturday morning reading the script. And as we went through, it got to the bit where Tony can't say his R's, and my wife can't say her R's. And before that, there was a bit about him having not much hair and being, a bit pale and being quite short. And all the rest of it. And she said, "Is this some kind of sick joke?" I said, I don't think they know that you can't say your R's, darling." Anyway, so luckily I got the part.
And Vance?
Yes, very similar to Gwyneth actually. Ray Butt, the producer, called me into the TV centre, BBC TV centre. Took me up to, he turned up and he was wearing a flat cap, he looked like Del, like a bit of a spin. And he was very quick with me. He said, "Come with me," put me into an office. He said, "Read this and I'll be back in a minute and you tell me what you think." And he gave me the script, The Longest Night. And I'm dyslexic, I read this fairly quickly because it was so funny. I read things that I like, I'll read fast, and certain things I might struggle with, but and within about 35 minutes I'd read it, and he walked back in and he said, "So what do you think?" I said, "It's really funny to think that I was a big fan of the show. It was rocking, 17 million on a Saturday and things like that." I said, "It's really funny." And before I could say bye, he said, "Right, okay, you're going to do it then. I'm going to go now. Come on, go back down to reception. You'll phone your agent, tell you you're going to..." But I said, no, because I was up for something else. Right? And it was a TV series for Channel 4, but they were dragging their heels. And I hadn't heard yet, but I said, no, listen, Ray, my agent, they'll deal with you, but no, you're going to do it. You've got to do it. Don't worry about that. I said, I'm up for something for Channel 4. I said, no, you're going to do it. And in the end, Channel 4 messing around a little bit, but the gravity of the part, and just with Rodney and Del and Uncle in the office, and it was like a stage play. It was all set in one room, and we did the OBs, and I said I'd go with that really, and I never regret that, because John Sullivan, the actors, and also Mandy Smith, the director, back then a woman director, comedy, real top drawer. I was in good hands.
Fantastic. So we're going to go back out. Oh, there we go. See, I'm already up there. I'm going to earn my money again. I've been running up and down these stairs all day. What's your name, fella? Gary. I'll pass you this microphone. There you go.
Hi. There's a sort of watched all the shows over the years and things. One of my favourite characters was obviously Trigger. I was just wondering for each of you, what was like your favourite Trigger moments in the show?
Every moment with Trigger was brilliant. Roger Lloyd-Pack was one of the most fantastic actors, because that wasn't him at all. He was this incredibly bright human being. He wasn't Trigger at all. It was just all credit to his acting. I suppose there's all of them, but I just love still the fact, and whenever I catch it now, the fact that he doesn't know Rodney's name. I just think it's hilarious. Forever, that's what you'll always remember mainly, is that he can't remember his name, and it's brilliant. No. Yeah.
I think that's my sorry. Tips. I think it's hard. I would find it hard to pick one, because it's just that presence, wasn't it, all the way through. He's such a weird, unique character, and they always used to say, the writer, director, and the other actors, he just stole the show. Like, we'd all rehearse and be doing our thing, and then he'd just come in and he'd have one line, and it would just take everything. The whole audience would go mad, and you'd be like, yeah, that's what he does. I think that's, and he's an amazing actor, and he's a great friend of ours as well. So, that's a big deal for us. Yeah, really deeply.
Yeah, he's a fantastic actor, and as the ladies were saying, it's a very difficult thing to do when in any production, when you haven't got many lines, to actually sort of do it still perfectly at that point when you're most needed to do it was brilliant, and a complete scene stealer. In fact, we're scene stealers downstairs with lots of photographs and things if you want to come and see us. Anyway, sorry, I thought I'd better get that one in. As you say, there's so many lovely things, but I love the bit where when he talked about his broom. He said, "I've had this broom for 24 years," or whatever. And anyway, that moment. Any thoughts?
Yeah, well, I knew Roger from Kentish Town. He grew up in the same area as me, and I knew him before Only Fools and Horses, and then I just so happened to be in it. But because I knew him from the area, he was a really good man. Really good man. I did the National Lottery when it launched, Euro Millions. When that launched, Roger and I did it. He played Robinson, and I played on Friday, and he played Robinson, and we went and shot it on an island in the Bahamas. Wow. Yeah. And I got to know him better then as well, even more so than I knew him anyway. I knew him from the street, really. But he was a good man, and that's just sad. But one brilliant actor, yeah.
I just want to say one more thing about Roger. It's just the fact that my sister runs. She's a dental practitioner, and he was such a good actor that she couldn't believe it was the same bloke. She said, "That's not Roger. Is that Roger?" I said, "Yeah, it's the same guy." She said, "He's completely different." I said, "He's an actor, darling."
I'll tell you something, right? He used to get really upset and pissed off, right, when people shouted out calling him Dave. I used to say to him, "Roger, what's the matter with you, man?" And he'll go, Dave, wherever we went, and he'd get the hump. He'd get the raving up, but that was just it. But as they were saying, he was a very clever man. Really, was a Shakespearean actor. Best of the rest of the best. He worked with everybody. And a really good man. Yeah, very sadly missed.
It felt to me like maybe he was the only actor in the world that could deliver lines the way that he delivered them. Do you agree with that, Liz?
Yeah.
Well, they say in our business, less is more. So, an actor could have like a monologue or have a really long speech, and you've just got to interject for 2 words or 3 words. Now, you mess up those 2-3 words, you've messed up the scene for the actor who's got the long. So less is more, and it's a skill to be able to listen time, and he had timing. Our business is full of timing. Yeah, it's all about timing.
Who's next? Oh, there we go, another Del. A Del, and then in front there. I know money yet again. There we go.
Hi. How many times did it take when Phil said the word "quine" for the first time? Like, how many retakes was there? It's the funniest scene I know about.
Phil, you probably know this better than me. I was so paranoid about the singing, because I'm not a singer by any stretch of the imagination.
Pish.
Seriously. And I can say one tiny thing, which is when we filmed it in front of supporting a whole nightclub of supporting artists, a lot of them were cabaret singers. And they told me that just before I went out to do it with Phil. So, because I felt even more paranoid, because this one's a brilliant singer, and I'm not.
They didn't tell me.
Anyway, afterwards, when we'd done it, and I sung my little heart out and thought, well, I think I might have got away with that, even though maybe it was in tune. Tony, the director, came up to me and said, yeah, it was fine, we've got it. Don't worry, Tess. Every time you hit those bum notes, we're just going to cut away to David. So I obviously didn't get it at all. So I was the long-winded way of saying I was so paranoid about my own performance, I didn't really laugh that much because I was too scared.
I think the thing about that particular performance was that I think we pre-recorded it and we're in a studio in Henley or something.
No, sorry, I remember that.
But we actually, when we came to shoot it, it was at the Locarno Ballroom in Bristol, I remember, because I'm from Bristol. And so I thought I'd made it. I made it to the Locarno, which was a big deal in those days, where they used to do Strictly Come Dancing before it was on telly. Anyway, but we shot it, and the director said, "Oh, yeah, I think it would work better live." And so we sort of went, "Really?" Okay, and so we did it live. And so, as I said, we were concentrating so much on doing it right, because we couldn't mime, that I think we didn't actually laugh at all, actually. No, I think it was because we were, just...
We were so scared.
We were into it, man.
Acting.
I was channeling my inner Tom Jones.
And we're going to go to...
Maria.
Oh, Maria.
Hi. You've probably heard this question a million times, but we're from Durham. We're very working class, and my dad's got a brother. We have said they're very much like Del Boy and Rodney. And did you ever imagine that the show, like looking even in here, like I'm 20 years old and there's children I can see that's younger than me. Poor Callum over there dressed like Del. Like so many generations know who you are. Like it is massive. We've got the Monopoly, my dad's got the pyjamas, the collectibles. Like it's always on a Sunday in our house. And did you ever imagine it was going to be so big?
Never. Personally, no. I knew it to be a really lovely, popular show that I was into and my family was into, but I'd never in a million years. And coming here today is the first time we've done a Comic Con. And yeah, and it really does just bring home to you how it has affected people. And you kind of know it because you go out and about and you hear it, but it's not the same as actually, and somebody, they might be here, I don't know, as Kate said to me, and she just came really quickly, did a picture and ran off, and the last thing she said to me was, I watch it with my granddad, and I just want to cry, because I just think, it's just, what a lovely thing to be part, and I just feel like really lucky to have been part of a programme that helped bring that kind of thing around, and it's still going, and it's being passed on. I'm not for a moment imagine that it would go. I thought, of course, it's a great show, it will do well, but this is bizarre and great and really nice.
And I guess also, what's fantastic you were saying about the children is that, every generation coming along seems to get introduced to it, and then either from granny or mum or dad or brother, and then they watch it, and then when they grow up, they tell their children. And there aren't many comedy programmes that do that and will last probably as long as we all live. It will go on like that. And I was just thinking, I'm sure we often say this, that John Sullivan, who wrote it, who was a comic, I think, genius, television writing genius, if he were here now, and sadly he's not, but if he were, I think what he'd be most chuffed about is that's exactly it, that what he always wanted was that families could watch something together. And I think if he could see that generation after generation are still watching it, still writing to us, still coming to these things, to appreciating it, I think he'd be so chuffed.
We have like little things in the house. You hear me dad go, oh, lovely jubbly. And like always, we'll put the lottery on. This time next year we'll be millionaires. We never will be, but the girl can dream.
My name's Amber. I've got a bit of a unique question for all four of you. If you were to choose a celebrity to guest star on any episode, who would you pick and why?
That's a good question.
Come in.
Now there's a silence.
Actors are better with lines written for them.
We'll just let them
The
sit
trouble.
down, shall we?
Are you coming to this, or are you on your way through? Yeah, don't forget to come and get your photographs later. I love the idea about the just going back to the other thing about the child cruelty, forcing children. You watch Only Fools and Horses, or you don't get your supper. Anyway, I think actually having met Ron Perlman today,
That's a brilliant idea.
Who's staying in a hotel, who's at this Comic Con. He's also selling photographs. Then I think him. But any other ideas? Sorry, that was Gwyneth's idea as well, apparently.
I didn't say it, did I? You did.
Must have been something in the air.
Eddie Murphy.
I'd like Meryl Streep just because I think she's such a fantastic actress, and I'd like to watch how she sort of works on a script and works with actors. But it's such a subjective thing, isn't it? It's who is your favourite person that you might like to have on. But it's a great question.
I love Susan Sarandon. If we're going in the Meryl Streep department, if we're going...
No Brits,
aim
it's all
high.
Americans.
And I'll say Eddie Murphy playing an American against Dell.
Thank you.
And, there we go, straight away. I don't even have to put it right in the middle and right up there. Oh, you don't need a microphone, fantastic. Got actors in.
Can I just ask you, did you get to keep any costumes or anything memento or the script from the series?
I wish I'd kept the wig.
Basically, she's asking, are you thieves? That's what she's asking about.
It's a good question because no, we obviously most of us, I think, actors, we tend to give back the costume, right? Because sometimes you're wearing really nice costume, but then there's a saying like, you know, if you keep it, then sometimes the makeup costume will offer you it, but if you're wearing it and then people see you, and then they see that program that you're in and you're wearing the same clothes that you're in the program, especially in the area that you live, you know, it can get a little bit embarrassing. But I can't believe that there's been two fans have come along with this book, and it's got some of the lines from the Longest Night, because I wish I kept the script, because I had notes and things like that on it, and yeah, that's something I wish I'd kept, the script.
I've kept one script, I think, from the very last 3 we did, just because we knew it was ending and it was never going to happen again, and I thought I'd never ever sell it. Out of sentimentality, I'd like to keep it, even for 40 grand. I just wanted to keep it forever. But no, I mean, you tend, as you're saying, also there's a thing, you know, we used to get, you know, you'd get told off if you sort of stole a costume, so you just wouldn't take anything with you, would you, at the end of a job?
Yeah.
Took the cookie jar.
So it's all very perfect, because we work any production, everything, even this, what we're doing here, it's a teamwork thing. And costume, you know, they're really good people. Costume girls and costume guys, they're just great people, and you don't really want to do that. And even if they say you can have it, you still think, you know, because they need it, they'll use it for other things. So you just keep the ball rolling like that. So it's not really good to take the costume. But they would have, the script, Longest Night, if I still had that script, you know, you say I'll keep it, but then people would have offered me a lot of money for it.
We're starting an auction now.
I'll tell you what, I'll transcribe it and then you can log it. Yeah, I mean, the thing about, in those days, there used to be a BBC costume store, which was, you know, easily as big as this entire conference hall. And so all the costumes would come from there, and they had to go back. So you couldn't sort of say, oh, I'll just sort of take that away. I mean, apart from the fact that it's, you know, you didn't want to do, you know, the dirty on the costumiers and the people. But so I think that's the other thing. Is, you know, they had to go back to Wales Farm Road, which is where it was taking place.
Yeah.
I confess, I have got a bottle of Peckham Spring.
Del over there's got one as well. He's brought his in. Did you steal it?
You stole it!
And I have got my script of Stage Fright. So
who's next? Who wants to go next? Oh, they're at the front. There we go. Yeah, you're wrong here, but everybody else can hear you then.
First of all, condolences. Obviously, we're missing somebody else this weekend as well. So, who was the most difficult and the most fun person to work with?
Well, you can't ask a team about difficult because you'll never get an answer from anyone. Because we were a team, actually, when you went for every year or however long it was before you then met up again, I mean, my memory was always just being really excited to see every single person there. That includes the director, the production team, the staff, the makeup, the costume, because it was one big team. So, yeah, I think it was just, that's its success as well, actually, is apart from the writing and the acting, it was the fact that it was teamwork and that everyone looked out for each other, and that was very much in comedy, and when you're working out laughs and how to time them, and that's about give and take. It is about how you work as a group, as a company, and that I think this show, more than probably any I've ever done, was about that, wasn't it?
Apart from that, you're a nightmare. really hard work. This woman, I'm telling you, talk about diva, I'm telling you. But you know, you soldier on, don't you? For the sake of the show. I couldn't say that if it was true, could I?
She's only joking, obviously. Yeah, well, there was a scene. I was very grateful because when you're only in one episode, it can be a bit daunting, especially when you go to a show which is in its 7th season or series, as we used to call it. It can be quite daunting, because everyone knows each other, but everyone was really, really kind to me. I don't know if you felt the same, but it was, and you thought, oh, that's so nice. Because it was a happy ship. It was like a family, and you could really feel it as soon as you went into that, just to do a read through or what have you, and everyone was really helpful and welcoming. I remember, people that you don't really sort of think much about, in a lot, but people like, the barman, Ken McDonald, he was really, supportive and sort of talked nicely and said, look, you'll be all right, everyone knows each other, but, you're okay. So he was really, and everyone was really nice. I do remember in the episode I was in, well, that's the only thing I can remember, was there was a scene backstage where Tony Angelino is where Del and Rodney go and visit him to try and sort of sign him up, and it's the scene where where my character slowly sort of disrobes and takes off his wig to show that actually he's hasn't got any hair. He takes off his shirt and you realise that actually it's not a real tan. He takes off his shoes and you realise that actually he's sort of quite short. And why they cast me, I have no idea. And then of course he takes out a Matteson sausage to reveal that actually he's got a prop. And what I do remember from that particular scene was, though Tony Dow was a brilliant director, he was quite happy to allow David Jason to use his stagecraft to sort of direct how that was going to work and how it's actually going to they worked out how it's going to look on camera. So David was he sort of said, oh no, you stand there, and then he sort of turned to Nick Lindis and say, you've got to make sure that you don't look when I take this out of hand, because you can't be seen to know what it is and all this. So it was very carefully choreographed, and I was in such awe of this that it was very, very difficult, but I was I thought, wow. Not only is he a great actor, but he was very generous with directing the whole scene, and obviously because he wanted it to work. So it was a great team, and so I fully concur with that.
I was kind of not nervous, but I knew I had a lot to do, and I knew that I had a gun to them, and I knew that I had to have them under manners. So during the rehearsals, we were rehearsing near Chiswick or something, in Church Hall, and they used to turn up in their just normal clothes, and we'd get on with it and we'd work it through. I just had to be on point. But David and Sir David and Nicholas and Buster, they were very, they were doing their thing, and they were letting me do my thing, and they weren't letting up much. And it's funny because before we'd start rehearsal, they'd talk about, like, Nicholas was learning to fly a plane, and he was talking about that, and I'd be listening to things like that, but my head was with the character, and we were getting, you rehearse for a week and then you go to do a technical. It's like a bit like a theatre play, and then you get him to do a technical, then you do a dress run. And then obviously we do one with the audience. They come in the audience, so they see the OB, what we did in the supermarket, and then they push me into the office and boom, that's it, we're in. So really I was looking to do it in one. I didn't want to do it like stop too much, and we had it on point. But one thing, Nicholas Lyndhurst, when I was rehearsing and I was saying the line, he gave me the line, shat ado. He said to me, do it like that, go shat ado. And I remember, because I was doing it a certain way, very similar, But they were so with what I was doing, and then he kind of said it, and I thought, yeah, that's right. Actors don't normally do that to other actors, but I said, yeah, thanks. And I kept it with that. And up to this day now, people has become a slogan. So he gave me that. But just finally, when we actually, I was on it, really on it, sharp with them, and I knew I was going to give it to them. You know, when we got on this, I was going to give it to them. I was going to, no holding back with this. But when we turned up to do the dress run, from them wearing their normal civvies and, you know, looking casual and being this, that and the other, and very well spoken and mild, sedate gentlemen, when David turned up with the flat cap on, looking like that, with the Wrangler jeans and the pleats, and Rodney had the Parker on, and Grandad, and I looked at them, all my lines went. Number one fucking line, you get me? Because they're the people that I watch every Saturday, and I decided to just say, get it back, and I got it back. But for a moment, I lost the character. For a moment, after all that work, I lost it when I saw them return. And he went like, David went like that, to me like that.
Oh, brilliant.
Who's next? Oh, we go. It's that easy. What's your name? Jasmine. There you go.
Were there any scenes in the show that got cut that you wish were kept in? Or any lines that you wish were kept in that could have added more?
I'll tell you why that's difficult. Because it's on all the time, people forget how long ago we did this series. So I think, things changed in rehearsals and stuff, and there would have been moments you thought, oh, we quite like that, it's a shame that's gone. But as to remembering them, I'd never be able to remember them now. But things did go, and John was very good at, he'd come in at rehearsal and he'd want to rewrite something. And an example of a rewrite would be, so I'm not going to be able to remember the actors' names or the thing, but they were Rodney's, I just always ask the audience, they always know more than me. So they played Rodney's friends in the episodes where I met Rodney, and they were the two friends of his. And one of the...
So good looking at me, Gwyn, because I didn't see any of the episodes until I came into it.
Anyway, so one of them broke his arm, or his foot or leg, during the rehearsal week, and so John just wrote it in, and I don't know what he said, but it's in that story where you see the actor hobbling about on either crutches or something or other, is because it happened, I think. And so things like that are just amazing, and you just go, oh, it's fine, we'll do this, and everyone's so worried, oh, what can we do, this actor, and John's just like, it's fine, I'll just write something, and it worked, it was fine.
And it would be funny, that was the amazing thing. Yeah. It's difficult, I mean, as I said, was only in that one episode, and I